Good morning.
Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Cincinnati.
My name is Jean Rolling. Joe and I started coming to First Church in 1976. And between us, we've served on about every committee there's been. And if you want to do the math, you can figure out how long that's been.
My name is Carter Dendy. I won't make you do the math. I've been going here about 17 years, and I'm going into my senior year of high school. And we will be your worship leaders today. Located on the ancestral lands of the Adena, Hopewell, Miamia, and Shawnee people, our urban community welcomes all with love, supports learning and spiritual growth, serves our wider community, and works for justice, equity, and inclusion. We are glad you're here with us this morning, whether in person or virtually.
During today's service, you may hear about programs or other items of interest. If you would like to learn more about these events, our community, or the Unitarian Universalist faith, please contact us at member-care@firstuu.com.
In just a second, we will share some on-site accessibility information. For those of you who are joining us virtually, today we invite you to take this moment to do whatever you need to be fully present with us this hour.
Now, for those of you who are joining us in person, please note that there are listening devices at the back of the sanctuary, along with noise-canceling headphones and printed orders of service. Should you like something to occupy your hands during the service, we invite you to pull out your knitting needles or a sketch pad. There are also focus items in our VIP lounge at the front of the sanctuary. If you find the need to leave the sanctuary at any point, know that you can still listen to the service out from the lobby, just outside the sanctuary doors. That is also where you will find gendered restrooms. Gender-neutral restrooms can be found on the second floor.
And now for a special announcement from the board.
Good morning. My name is Barbara Bonney. This is my first year on the First Church board, but I already see we have an excellent board that has said yes to representing this congregation. We are you. Yes, there are always ways to improve, and President Amy Bottomley is leading us there. Being without a minister feels like shaky ground for all of us. And yet Amy is moving us forward to improve church functions, fill in the gaps, and be ready for each next step. In meetings, I hear respectful questions from all 9 members and special guests. I hear respectful ideas, solutions, and volunteering. I hear innovations and openness, empathy and support. I hear laughter to lighten the load we carry together. None of us is special, and each of us is special because we actively choose to participate and wrestle and evaluate and vote. We show up, and we do the work we have been elected to do. I am honored to serve you, this church, as a board member for 3 years. My goal is to support all of our church leaders and followers as we take bold steps toward our future. Last week was our board retreat, where we set goals for this year and planned the agenda for the congregational meeting in September. Watch for the finalized goals to be presented soon, and choose to participate in the congregational meeting on September 11th. Together, we make shaky ground solid and create our future. Thank you.
We begin our time this morning by lighting our chalice, the chosen symbol of our faith, with these words from the Unitarian Church of Dublin of Ireland.
We bid you welcome to this church.
It is a place we love and which we tend with care.
We do not ask what you believe or expect you to think the way that we do,
but only that you try to live a kindly, helpful life with the dignity proper to a human being.
Preachers here have the task of presenting religion freely, fearlessly, and faithfully.
Hearers here have the responsibility of testing what they hear, not only with a critical mind, but also in the living of everyday life.
The members of this congregation welcome and support all who believe that religion is wider than any sect and deeper than any set of opinions, and all who might find their friendship, strength, and encouragement for daily living.
Please rise in body or spirit to join us in the singing of our vision song. Words will appear on the screen.
In our service when we turn and greet our neighbors. For those of you joining us virtually, we invite you to share a hello in the live chat. For those of you, okay, I got it.
They're quieting down. Our schools are under fire. Our children's right to a free, safe, and comprehensive education rests in a precarious position. Our teachers' and administrators' lives, livelihoods, and sanity have all been threatened. Welcome back to school. It's 2022. This isn't how it's supposed to be. You know, I spent the first 10 years of my life really struggling in school. I took too long to do my work. I didn't understand half of what my teachers said to me, and I couldn't read but a few words. Until, that is, I entered 5th grade, and by some miracle, I was placed in Mr. Keller's classroom. Now, let me tell you a bit about Mr. Keller. To start, he was a veteran teacher. And he had little tolerance for shenanigans, and goodness did he have high expectations. A real surly exterior. At first glance, you might imagine that the students in his care suffered unjustly. But here was the thing about Mr. Keller. He made learning fun. In his class, I learned about Newton's laws of motion by playing marbles. I learned about the Revolutionary War through reenactment. I learned basic geometry by creating 3D shapes out of just plain paper. I learned to love learning. And goodness, did Mr. Keller care about his students. Whatever you needed to be successful, he'd make sure you had it. And he never let up. At the end of our 2 years together, I was a different student. Years passed. As I continued to grow, I visited Mr. Keller from time to time. And when I graduated high school, I told him that I decided to pursue a teaching degree, in part because of him. You changed my life for the better, I told him, and I want to be that person for someone one day. I thought, perhaps naively, Mr. Keller would be proud of me. I thought perhaps he'd be honored. Instead, I'll never forget what he told me. Don't become a teacher, he said. It's not the profession it once was. At the time, I didn't understand, but now I do. Nearly 20 years ago, Mr. Keller could see the writing on the wall. He could see this is where education was headed. Nelson Mandela once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." As your director of Lifespan Faith Development, I believe that to be true. So today, I hope you will join me in honoring, celebrating, and imbuing with love all of the teachers, administrators, and students who, by simply showing up, keep the dream of a better future alive. Will you do that? Good. Our service today is based off of the book, My New Teacher and Me by Al Yankovic. Weird Al Yankovic? There you go. Wait. My New Teacher and Me by Al Yankovic. Illustrations by Wes Hargis. Part 1. The first day of school, it was finally here. I wondered who'd be my new teacher this year. Then at 8:30 sharp, a tall stranger walked in. He stood by the chalkboard and stroked his long chin. He said, "I'm Mr. Booth.
and I'm happy to say I'll be teaching you all about fractions today. Now open your textbooks to page number 3. And that's when he stopped, and he stared straight at me. He said, "You, young man, why's that filth on your shirt? You can't come in my class all covered with dirt." I said, "Hi, nice to meet you, sir. Billy's the name." See, a funny thing happened before the bus came. I was digging to China out in my backyard, and I almost was there when I hit something hard. Well, I dug and I dug and I dug a bit more and discovered the skull of a real dinosaur. And I would have cleaned up, sir, but hey, I'm no fool. I just couldn't be late on the first day of school.
During the first part of our story, Billy shares that he discovered the skull of a real dinosaur. American interior designer Nate Berkus is quoted as saying, "You will enrich your life immensely if you approach it with a sense of wonder and discovery, and always challenge yourself to try new things." I wonder, what challenges have you faced this past year? What are some discoveries you found? Did you learn how to ride a bike? Did you discover you can sing? This wonder question is open to all, but I'd like to hear from our children and youth in particular. Our worship associate, actually, Maddie here, is going to walk around with the microphone. So if you wish to share, can you raise your hand and she'll come to you. And those of you who are joining us virtually, you can share what challenges and discoveries you found this past year in the live chat. So anyone discover anything new this past year? Nothing. We are all the same. What about our adults? Oh, you got one over there.
What did you discover?
I never done this before, but I have made something that I love. I made this and I really do like it, and I don't want it to like have anyone. I already had someone like knock it over, and I really didn't like it, so I rebuilt it, and this is it again, and I'm really proud of it.
Anyone else? Oh, I see one back there. We'll take two more.
This year I discovered more about dinosaurs.
All right. Very cool. I want to hear all about that after the service. And we have one back here, Maddie. Yes.
I learned the importance of really listening to people and the importance of being able to disagree and still be friends.
All right, we'll take one more.
I discovered that as you're walking in the door with Sally Behringer and you forgot the flowers that you were assigned to bring, that you could go outside and the church has a plethora of offering.
Wonderful. Let's catch up with Billy.
Part 2. For a second or two, Mr. Booth kind of froze. Then he walked up to me, and he looked down his nose. "I don't tolerate nonsense. No, not 1 degree, and your story sounds highly unlikely to me." "Why, of course it's unlikely," I said. "Oh, by far. The awesomest things in the world often are. For instance, this friend of my third cousin Ned's got a farm where the dairy cows each have 2 heads. That's so highly unlikely the tourists all stop just to take their own pictures at $3 a pop. Completely ridiculous, sneered Mr. Booth. Please stop wasting our time and just stick to the truth. Well, the truth can seem crazy, like that day in June when my grandfather famously walked on the moon. And he played ukulele while flying a kite. It was in all the papers. You've heard of it, right? You know what? My grandfather even implied someday he might take me along for the ride.
Billy has dreams of going to the moon. I invite you now to get comfortable, take a deep breath, and listen as I share this affirmation from young adult seminary student Roddy Biggs. Though at times I may forget who I am or who I'm becoming, my dreams, they matter. When I make space for all that is, when I move away from that which no longer serves me, when I make space for the new possibility in circumstances, my dreams do matter. They matter. They hold many truths and many turning points. They matter, though at times I may convince myself they don't. They do. For they call me back in time and forward still. My dreams matter. They matter as they pull me inward and yet simultaneously push me outside of myself. My dreams matter. They matter as they speak to the breath of love, of pain, of hope that rests deep in the fabric of my blood and bones. My dreams matter as they are connected to the dreams of my ancestors, connected to all who have graced this earth before, who grace it here and now, and will be connected to all who grace this earth when we grace this place no more. My dreams, they matter. Our dreams, they matter. They matter. I wonder what dreams do you hold? Again, Maddie will walk around with our microphone, so if there is a dream you would like to share, please raise your hand. And for those of you joining us virtually, please share your dreams in the live chat if you feel called to do so.
I dream of becoming a blues harmonica player.
Woo! Yeah! Right here.
I dream of going to college.
I dream of writing a memoir for my grandson.
Let's do two more. We have right here.
I've been working on the church website for 10 months. I dream of it actually going live.
Yeah. And we have a dream over here.
I dream to an end of the anti-CRT bills in states.
Good job. All right, let's get back to Billy.
Part 3. Then the class started cheering, take us too. Then Mr. Booth bristled and snapped, that'll do. Pure poppycock. Class, please be quiet. Be still. He is not going off to the moon, never will. That's all right, I told him. The moon is okay, but I've been to a much cooler place anyway. I just went on vacation with my dad and mom to an island somewhere between Norway and Guam, where the blueberry muffins grow right on the trees, and you flip inside out every time that you... There's a squid eating contest, and hey, if you win it, they let you be king for exactly 1 minute. Then everyone does what you tell them to do. Man, I sure hope we get to go back next year too.
Looks like Billy got to be king for a minute. Imagine you were king for a minute. What orders would you give? If you could tell everyone what to do, what would you tell them to do? Raise your hand and Maddie will come around with the microphone. Or if you're joining us virtually, go ahead and put your answers in the chat. I see one over there.
Be kind, be gentle.
Mm-hmm. If you were king for 1 minute, what would you order everyone to do?
Speak less, listen more.
Everyone needs to plant at least 1 tree.
Anyone else? All right, let's catch up with Billy.
Part 4. Mr. Booth didn't care for that story one bit. He furrowed his brow and said, "Okay, that's it. Admit that your stories are simply absurd. I just do not believe them, not one single word." Then I cleared my throat and said, "Well, sir, you know, just 'cause you don't believe them doesn't mean it's not so. Just 'cause you can't imagine it, that doesn't mean that it simply can't be or won't ever be seen. I'll bet every great thinker and leader we've got could see all kinds of things other people could not. So then why get upset if somebody like me tries to look at the world just a bit differently?" "Enough," Mr. Booth said. "No more of these stunts. You'll march straight to the principal's office at once." Something slipped from my book as I walked out the door. Mr. Booth picked it up, and his jaw hit the floor. It was me and a cow with not 1 head, but 2. "Oh," I said. "I was planning to give that to you. It's a little good luck gift. I got it for free." He stared at the photo, then looked back at me.
I want to thank you for all that you've shared this morning. I think if I had the opportunity to be king for 1 minute, I'd want whatever orders I give to be guided by love. I invite you to rise now in body or spirit and join me in singing hymn number 131 from your gray hymnal. Love will guide us. If you don't have an hymnal, or you're joining us virtually, the words appear on the screen. Most UU congregations have a tradition of blessing backpacks around this time of year. Did you know that? This is not something that I grew up with at Heritage Universalist Unitarian Church, and I don't know how it started. But it's a tradition that seems to have spread like wildfire in the past decade. And yet it's a tradition that's still pretty new to First Church. I believe this is only our second or third time that we've done this. As I started to prepare for today's service, I began searching for backpack tags. Backpack tags being an important part of the blessing ritual, as they are a physical reminder of all the hope, love, and care that is present in the congregation. And that is when I discovered keychain flashlights. Keychain flashlights. There we go. Perfect, I thought. Let us shine a light of love. Here is a way we can actually send actual light of love, hope, and care to school with our children and educators. For the children and educators who are with us in person, please, as I call you, come forward and receive a backpack tag. And then if you would, stay up here for just a moment so that the congregation can bestow a blessing on you. And if you are joining us virtually, you are invited to sound off in the live chat as I call your age. And if you want a backpack tag, all you have to do is email dre@firstuu.com and one will be mailed to you. So let's begin. Let's start with our educators. Any teachers or administrators here? Come on up, receive a backpack tag. Yep, stay up here, please. Thank you. Are there any graduate or university students here? All right. High school students? Junior high students? Any 4th, 5th, or 6th graders? first, second, or third graders. Come here and get your backpack tag. And I'm going to also call any kindergartners, the class of 2035. And preschoolers, if there are any preschoolers. Okay. Go ahead and get one. Oh, well, here, you get to keep those. Yeah. In our religious tradition, it's not just ministers or religious professionals who have the power to bless. Each of us has the power to bless another and to bless the world. Therefore, I invite everyone here to join me in bestowing a blessing upon our children, youth, teachers, and administrators. This blessing is adapted from Share Your Glorious Light with the World, and it's by James Morrison. I believe the words are on the screen, but I may have forgotten. It's been a week. If they're not, I will adapt. Are they there? No. So I'm going to say a line, and you're going to say, go forth. All right? Blessed are we, for within each of our hearts there is a most glorious light. And let your spark help you understand what troubles both you and others. And let your light of reason be a guide in your decisions. And bring your ray of hope to those in need of help in both body and spirit, that they may find healing. And fan the flames of passion to help heal our world. And spread the warm glow of love, pushing back the darkness of the world. And share your glorious light with the world. Thank you all. You may return to your seats. Let's finish our story.
Part 5. I avoided the principal's office that day. In fact, old Mr. Booth put my gift on display. He steals a quick glance at it once in a while. And I'm not even kidding. I once saw him smile. We should get along fine. And it's certainly clear there's a lot we'll be teaching each other this year. Like how all my stories are perfectly true. Except for, well, maybe a detail or two.
Our flowers today are provided by Mary Tarbell Green. She says, these are summer blooms, helping to soften the edges around the brave, hard questions we have the courage to ask. This is the time when we contemplate the joys and sorrows that are in our hearts. We use stones to represent our joys and sorrows. The water represents the love of community. We drop a stone in the water to seek the softening of our sorrows and the amplification of joys. All the individual joys and sorrows come together in one bowl of water so that they can be symbolically shared and borne by us as the collective community. We invite you now to come forward, up the side aisles, and back down the middle to amplify your joy and to soften your sorrow.
Our meditation today is called Shared Light, Shared Future, and it was written by Josh Prudence and Percival Roburn on occasion of their mother's ordination.
We are all flames.
When we gather, hand in hand,
our church,
our community, our home.
We inspire,
we celebrate,
we come together, sharing our light
of hope for our shared future. Please remain seated as Jared plays May We Shine a Light of Love by Joyce Polies. Words will appear on the screen for anyone who would like to sing along.
Our Share the Plate collection for this month of August will go to First Church UU the Vote campaign to purchase supplies and postage. The more generous you are, the more voters we can reach.
Giving to First Church is easy. You can text the word GIVE to 513-717-7373. If you have access to our Breeze membership system, you may click Give Now, or you can give online at firstuu.com. You can also write a check to First Unitarian Church of Cincinnati and mail it to 536 Linton Street, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45219. If this is your first time with us, please let the virtual plate pass you by. Your presence is gift enough to our church.
closing words today are by Amy Zucker Morgenstern. In every person we meet, especially those who cause us discomfort, we find an opportunity for us to grow, to learn, to go further along the path of transformation that is our purpose in life. Every single one is our teacher. May the next week bring you many such moments of meeting that help you become the person you want to be, and may you welcome them with joy.
We will extinguish our chalice by saying these words together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Just a few announcements before we're done here. I want to remind you that next week after the service, we are holding Meals and Wheels. It will be a potluck and a parking lot ride. So bring something for everyone to share and eat, and bring a scooter or wheelchair or rollerblades, and we're just going to ride around the parking lot and have a fun time. Also, we are still doing restorative circles. There will be a facilitator training the week of September 16th through 18th. We will also have a Sunday worship about restorative circles that weekend. If you want to know more, please email member-care@firstuu.com. We are also going to do another round of Owning Your Religious Past, since many could not do this last winter. This will start at the end of September, and it will be on Saturday mornings. We're also going to start a brand new program called You and Me, where we're going to create intergenerational pairs to share spiritual journeys that will happen after the service, actually after a potluck, the first Sunday of every month. And we are also starting to receive registrations for sharing circles. If you want to know more about any of these, please visit our website after Wednesday. No information about them is up now, but it will be after Wednesday.